Learning objectives. After completing this module, learners will be able to discuss the importance of trading and different materials traders use to sell and buy. Discuss about the rulers and kings who found the importance of trade and business. Explain the Silk Route and its nature from ancient days. Underline the expansion of Buddhist religion during Kushana reign. Explain why pilgrims came to India and what they did here during their stay in this country. Describe how the name Hindu was familiar for the religion related with Indian subcontinent. Traders and kingdoms. Trading with different parts of the world. Since the time when early Mauryan Empire commenced, we could see the traders with various products like black peppers and different spices, gold, northern black polished ware, and other potteries, sandalwood, pearls, coral, crops, and others. They were traders who sold horses and slaves too in other countries of the world. Coastlines as used for trading and the southern kingdoms. Traders explored several sea routes. Some of these followed the coasts. There were others across the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, where sailors took advantage of the monsoon winds to cross the seas more quickly. So if they wanted to reach the western coast of the subcontinent from East Africa or Arabia, they chose to sail with the southwest monsoon. 3 Muvendars or chiefs were in the southern coastline as Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas about 2300 years ago. Every kingdom had 2 cities as their center of powers, one inland, second one by the coastline. The port city of Kaveripattinam was the center of Chola. Pandya had Madurai as their center of power. The kings did not take any taxes but took gifts and tributes from the people and other provinces. Gautamiputra Sri Shatakarni, the kingdom of Shatavahanas. After 200 years later, in western India, Satavahanas became powerful in western India. Gautamiputra Sri Shatakarni took the title as Dakshina Pathaswamin as the inscription was composed by his mother Gautami. Silk Route and its expansion. Silk Route and ancient China. 7,000 years ago in China, the complicated process of getting silk cloth from raw was invented. The country tried hard to keep this method secret from the outer world for many years. Later on, Chinese rulers used to send gifts of silk to rulers in Iran and West Asia. And from there, the knowledge of silk spread further west. Many people by foot, horseback, or on camels brought the silk to the outer world. Their route to reach the outer world was called Silk Routes. Silk Route and its control. About 2000 years ago, silk became a very expensive status symbol among the riches of Rome. Beside the dangerous geographical characteristics of the route, many robbers were there along the route who demanded payments to allow the traders to pass through. Many kings or local rulers along the long route provided the safety to the traders from the robberies in exchange of taxes, tributes, and gifts. Kushanas in India, controller of the silk routes in the region. Around 2000 years ago, Kushanas ruled Central Asia and Northwest India. They controlled and extended the Silk Route down to the harbours by Arabian Sea. After that, the silk traders began to ship the silk toward Roman Empire through waterways. The gold coins issued by Kushana rulers were used by the traders along the routes. The spread of Buddhism and the pilgrimage from China. Kushana rulers. Approximately 1900 years ago, Kanishka was the ruler of Kushana dynasty. His capital city was Purushpur. At present, it is Peshawar. He organized a council where many scholars met together and discussed about the religion. Ashvaghosha wrote the biography of Lord Buddha, Buddha Charita in Sanskrit, during this time. A new form of Buddhism, that is, Mahayana, was introduced then. People was interested about Bodhisattva too in order to attain enlightenment. Many caves, along with western ghats, were formed by the rulers and merchants where those enlightened teachers used to live. The spread of Buddhism. This Mahayana school was flourished in China, Japan and Korea later on. Although from Sri Lanka to Indonesia, Buddhism was also spread by the virtues of those great teachers. The Theravada Buddhism, as the oldest form, was very popular in this area. Pilgrimage from China. Two scholars came from China in order to know about Buddhist religion and to offer their worship to the Lord. They are Faxian and Xuanzang. Faxian came about 1600 years ago and Xuanzang came 1400 years ago. Faxian went back to China from Bengal via sea route, but Xuanzang went back through northwest India through land. Many of rare Buddhist religious manuscripts, the statues of Buddha, they took with them while returning home. Concept of Bhakti. Meaning of Bhakti. The word Bhakti came from the Sanskrit word bhaja. It means to divide and share. The two-way relationship between the devotee and deity was prime here. Bhakti is directed towards Bhagavad, which is often translated as God, but also means one who possesses and shares bhaga, literally good fortune or bliss. The devotee, known as the Bhakta or the Bhagavata, shares his or her chosen deity's bhaga. Bhakti as a concept in Hindu religion. Those who followed the system of bhakti emphasized devotion and individual worship of a god or goddess rather than the performance of elaborate sacrifices. The idea of bhakti is present in the Bhagavad Gita, a sacred book of the Hindus. In this, Krishna, the god, asks Arjuna, his devotee and friend, to abandon all dharmas and take refuge in him, as only he can set Arjuna free from every evil. This form of worship gradually spread to different parts of the country. The impressions of the bhakti concept over the societies. It was unique that anybody, whether rich or poor, belonging to the so-called high or low castes, man or woman, could follow the path of bhakti. Thus, it became famous to every people in the society, and many of them believed that the god would be sacrificed if the devotee could worship well from the heart. Summary. Let us summarize what we have learned. Around 2500 years ago, the Indian traders had established their relation with Europe and West Asia. Along the coastline in southern India, different rulers were active and new kingdoms were established. Silk Route was active since 4000 years ago. Many rulers and kings tried to control the Silk Route to collect the taxes from the traders. Mahayana form of Buddhism was originated during Kushana period and it became famous in Far East and in China, Japan and Korea. Faxian, Xuanzang and Yiqiang came from China as Buddhist pilgrims in different time during ancient medieval period of Indian history.